The call connected, and my brother's face filled the screen. Tight jaw, narrowed eyes, like he'd been waiting all morning to pick a fight. I hadn't even said hello when he snapped. Don't bother showing up to anything anymore. Mom doesn't want you there. Dad doesn't want you there, and honestly, neither do I. The words hit like a slap, but I didn't let my expression move an inch. I'd grown up around his tantrums. You learn to keep your heartbeat still when someone wants a reaction. Instead, I leaned back in my chair and said calmly, "Got it." His eyebrows twitched. He wasn't expecting calm. He wanted drama. He wanted tears. He wanted me to beg for the spot in the family I'd been silently pushed out of for years. But I didn't give him a single one of those things. He scoffed and shook his head dramatically. "You've always been the outsider, Mia. Just accept it. You're not part of this family anymore." There it was, his favorite line, delivered like he'd been rehearsing it in the mirror. I tilted my head. "Anything else?" "Yeah," he said, smirking. "You don't deserve to be connected to us. We're done including you, and you should be grateful we tolerated you this long." I nodded once. Slow. Controlled. Final. Good to know. Then I pressed the red button and ended the call, without waiting for another word. For a moment, the silence in my apartment felt strangely clean, like fresh air after years of dust. No begging. No defending myself. Just ending the conversation before it became another round of humiliation. And then, like a spark hitting gasoline, a thought flickered. I opened my banking app. There it was, the $612 automatic payment for my brother's brand new SUV. The same SUV he couldn't afford, the same SUV I'd stupidly agreed to help him with, just until he got on his feet. That was 2 years ago. I stared at that payment and whispered, "Not anymore." One tap. Cancel recurring payment. Another tap. Confirm. A wave of relief washed over me so fast it made my hands warm. My brother wanted me out of his life? Perfect. He could start by removing himself from my wallet. He probably forgot I was the one covering the financing. He probably thought I'd just keep paying for another year, maybe 2, because I owed the family for everything they'd done for me. Funny considering they did nothing but use me. I set my phone down and exhaled, feeling my chest loosen for the first time in a while. I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I was simply done. Around noon my phone buzzed, not with a call from him, but with a notification from social media. Ethan Carter posted a new photo. Of course he did. I opened it, and there he was, my brother, leaning arrogantly on the glossy hood of the SUV I had been paying for. He captioned it, "Hard work pays off. Blessed to buy my dream car." My eye twitched. Hard work? The only thing he worked hard at was making sure the family saw him as the golden child. The comments were even worse. "Amazing, bro. So proud of you. You deserve it. That's a real man's car." Not a single person knew the truth, that the real man's car was paid for every month by the sister he treated like a disposable inconvenience. But scrolling didn't upset me. It motivated me. Later that evening, a notification blinked again, this one from the bank. Attempted payment failed. Vehicle lender notified. I sat straighter. And then another notification. Your cosigner status is pending review due to missed payment. He didn't know yet, but he would. The next morning, I woke up to a storm of missed calls from him. 5, then 11, then 19. Then a text. "Ethan, did you cancel the payment? Call me back now." Then, "Ethan, the bank just contacted me. What did you do?" Then, "Ethan, fix this, Mia. I mean it." I didn't answer. I went about my morning, coffee, music, sunlight through my window, like someone who had finally taken her life back from a parasite. Around 10:30 a.m., a video popped up in my feed. I pressed play. A tow truck. A blinking orange light. A familiar metallic blue SUV being slowly, painfully winched up onto the flatbed. A voice off camera, my brother's voice, shouting, "Wait, there must be a mistake. I'm calling the bank. Put it down." The driver barely looked at him. "Missed payment, sir. We're authorized to take it." My brother looked like someone had yanked the ground from under him. He ran his hand through his hair, pacing, swearing, whining, pleading, pure panic. And honestly, I felt nothing but justice.
Clean.
Quiet, undeniable justice. Because he hadn't just told me I wasn't part of the family. He told me I wasn't worth basic respect. But he forgot one thing. I was the one holding his safety net. And I decided I was done being his cushion. I set my phone down, smiling to myself, not maliciously, not out of cruelty, but out of the peace that comes when you finally stop letting someone mistreat you. He wanted me gone?
Good.
I was finally free. And this was just the beginning. By early afternoon, my phone was vibrating nonstop. Ethan had moved from angry messages to desperate ones, each more dramatic than the last. Ethan. They took the car. Fix it. Ethan. You better call them right now. Ethan. Mom is furious.
Dad, too.
They said you're destroying this family. That one made me laugh under my breath. Destroying the family? Apparently, canceling a payment I'd been silently covering for 2 years was more destructive than the years they spent belittling me, excluding me, and treating me like the family's personal backup plan. I didn't reply. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table, sipping iced tea while scrolling through job applications from companies requesting interviews. My life was finally moving in a direction that didn't revolve around picking up the pieces for people who didn't care about me. Around 4 p.m., the calls suddenly stopped. The quiet felt suspicious. Too quiet. 10 minutes later, my building's security desk buzzed my intercom. Miss Carter? There's a man downstairs insisting he needs to speak with you. My stomach dropped. Brown hair, loud voice, thinks he's always right? The guard snorted. That would be him. I took the elevator down, not because I wanted to see him, but because I didn't want him disturbing the whole building. When the door slid open, Ethan whirled around like he'd been pacing. Mia, he barked. What is wrong with you? Why would you cancel the payment? You know I need that car. I walked past him and into the lobby, arms crossed. You said I wasn't family anymore. Why would I keep paying for someone who doesn't even want me around? His face twisted. You're being childish. No. I cut in. For once, I'm being consistent. You said I'm not welcome. I accepted that. Now you accept the consequences. He ran both hands down his face. Mia, I can't lose that car. People will talk. My job. You'll survive, I said firmly. Plenty of people use public transportation. He stared at me like I'd spoken another language. The golden boy reality he'd lived in was cracking, and he had no idea how to handle it. Then he tried another angle. Mom is crying because of you. I blinked. She cried when I moved into my first apartment because I should have stayed home and helped more. She cried when I got my promotion because your brother deserves something good too. She cries when I breathe wrong. That's not my responsibility. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. I took a slow breath. Ethan, I cared for years. I bent over backwards. I babysat your errands, your payments, your drama, even your lies. And you repaid me by telling me I don't belong. His voice cracked slightly. I didn't mean it like that. You said it perfectly clearly. Silence. He shifted his weight, shoulders sinking. Just help me fix this. Please. There it was, the real reason he came. Not to apologize. Not to reflect. Not to repair anything. Just to get the car back. I stepped closer, so he couldn't miss the conviction in my voice.
No, Ethan.
I'm done being used. He looked stunned, like the word no was something he'd never heard from me before. I held out my hand. Give me the spare key.
What?
Why? You co-signed with me. Legally, until the lender transfers everything into your name, that car is partly mine. And I'm not letting you drive something you can't, or won't, pay for. He shook his head rapidly. This is unbelievable. Yep, I said. So, is being told I'm not family right before you expect me to fund a lifestyle? For a moment, I thought he might yell, or beg, or storm out. Instead, he reached into his pocket and dropped the key into my palm. His voice was low. You'll regret this. No, I replied softly. I'm finally protecting myself. That's not regret, it's growth. He said nothing else. He left the building, shoulders tight, ego bruised, reality finally sinking in. I looked at the key in my hand and felt something unexpected. Relief. This wasn't revenge out of anger. This was revenge out of freedom. And the best part? My story was only getting better from here. The next morning, sunlight poured through my blinds, and for the first time in years, I woke up without a knot in my chest. No messages from family. No weight of responsibility I never asked for. Just quiet. I made breakfast for myself instead of rushing to fix someone else's crisis. I played music. I opened my windows. I breathed. Around noon, the bank finally called. Miss Carter, this is regarding the vehicle loan. Since the payment method was canceled and the co-signer has not submitted alternate arrangements, the vehicle remains in repossession status. You are no longer financially obligated as of the contract termination request you submitted. A warm satisfaction rolled through me. Thank you. Please transfer everything solely to the primary borrower. Absolutely. He will be responsible for all remaining payments. Perfect. Now it was officially his problem, not mine. I put my phone away and went back to my coffee. That's when my social media buzzed with a video that was already going viral locally. It was Ethan, standing outside the bank, red-faced, arguing with a loan officer. Someone had recorded the whole meltdown. Ma'am, you don't understand, he was saying, pacing back and forth. My sister can't just walk away from this. She has to keep paying. She promised. The bank employee's calm voice cut in. Sir, she was never obligated. She was doing it voluntarily. You need to provide updated proof of income to reinstate the loan. But I don't have that yet, he shouted. My job isn't paying enough. Then you may need to consider alternative transportation. The camera shook as the person filming tried not to laugh. Ethan threw his hands up. This is insane. She ruined everything. Comments were pouring in. He shouldn't rely on his sister like that. Why buy a car you can't afford? Entitlement at its finest.
I didn't comment.
I didn't share it. I didn't need to. The internet was doing the talking for me. Later that evening, my parents called for the first time in weeks. I let it ring out. They left a voicemail, my mother's voice tight and accusing. Mia, your brother is humiliated. The whole neighborhood is talking. You need to fix this right now. You can't walk away from family like this. I didn't even finish listening. The guilt switch inside me was broken, finally. My peace didn't depend on their approval anymore. The next day, I went to pick up the SUV from the repossession lot, since the lender required one co-signer to retrieve personal belongings before transferring the contract. The workers led me to it, and I stared at the shiny vehicle that had been draining my bank account for 2 years. Do you plan on taking it? One employee asked. I smiled.
No.
Just emptying it. Inside, the back seat was full of gym bags, fast food wrappers, and his expensive sunglasses collection. Everything he bought while I covered his bills. As I cleaned it out, a strange thought hit me. I hadn't done anything cruel. I had simply stepped out of the role they forced me into. The fixer. The quiet one. The provider no one respected. And stepping out had revealed everything. Who cared about me and who only cared about what I could do for them. As I finished unloading the last bag, my phone buzzed again, this time with a message from someone unexpected. Ethan, I'm coming by tonight. We need to talk. I stared at the screen. Not another demand. Not yelling in all caps. Just a request. A tiny part of me wondered if he was finally ready to be honest. Another part wondered if he was coming to guilt-trip me again. Either way, I wasn't scared of his reaction anymore. I'd already taken back my power.
And tonight?
I would decide how this story ended on my terms. Ethan showed up right at 7. No yelling. No stomping. No performative dramatics, like usual. Just a tired, embarrassed version of the brother I used to know before the family turned him into their favorite pedestal. He stood outside my door, hands shoved into his jacket pockets, eyes avoiding mine. That alone told me everything. He wasn't here to attack. He was here because life had finally caught up to him. Can we talk? He asked quietly. I stepped aside. 5 minutes. That's all. He walked in slowly, like he was stepping onto thin ice. We sat at opposite ends of the living room. He cleared his throat once.
Twice.
His eyes flicked around like he was searching for the right script. There was none. So, he finally said, "They took the car." I nodded. Yes. And they said everything's in my name now. Payments, debt, all of it. That's how it works when you tell your cosigner she's not part of your life. His jaw tightened, not in anger this time, but in shame. I messed up, he whispered. Really bad. I didn't soften. I didn't jump in to comfort him. I just let the silence sit. He took a long breath. I didn't think you'd actually leave. Or cancel things. You've always helped. Even when you shouldn't have. That's exactly why I stopped, I said. You got used to taking from me. All of you did. And when I asked for basic respect, you gave me insults. He swallowed hard. Yeah, I know. For the first time in our entire relationship, he looked genuinely afraid, not of me, but of losing me as a sister. He rubbed a hand over his face. The car wasn't the only thing. Mom and Dad said some stuff to me today. They blamed you for ruining everything, and for the first time I realized they blame you for everything. Even things that aren't your fault. That's nothing new, I said calmly. But it should be, he replied, voice trembling. It shouldn't have taken losing a car for me to see how badly I treated you. My chest tightened, not with pain, but with a strange warmth. An apology from Ethan was something I never expected to hear in my lifetime. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I'm sorry, Mia. Not fake sorry. Not fix this for me sorry. I mean it. I treated you like an ATM, a backup plan, a punching bag. I don't deserve anything from you. I just hope you'll consider giving me a chance to do better. I looked at him for a long moment, letting the sincerity sink in. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a miracle transformation. But it was real.
And real was enough.
You're right, I said softly. You don't deserve anything from me. But people can change if they want to. He nodded slowly. I do. We both stood. He lingered near the door, unsure. So, where do we go from here? I thought about it. Then I opened the door for him. You take responsibility for your life, I said. You make your own payments. You build your own success. And if you keep respecting my boundaries, maybe we'll rebuild our relationship. Slowly. His eyes glistened, not with tears, but with relief. Okay, I can do that.
Before leaving, he hesitated.
One more thing. I told Mom and Dad they were wrong.
About you.
About everything. They're not taking it well. A small smile tugged at my lips. Not my problem anymore. He laughed, soft, genuine. The first real laugh we'd shared in years. Good night, Mia. Good night, Ethan. When the door closed, my apartment felt lighter than ever. I'd stood up for myself. I'd cut the chains I didn't even realize I'd been dragging. And somehow, through all the mess, I'd gained something unexpected. A chance at a healthier relationship. A brother who finally saw me as a sister, and not a resource. And a future that belonged to me. The next morning, I opened my laptop and accepted a job offer I'd been staring at for days. A position in a new city with better pay and a fresh start. My new life didn't depend on anyone's approval. It depended on me. And for the first time, that felt like freedom.